Hey Peck, I'm Kanen Huff.
I'm Colin Downey.
And this is another edition of KPTV Panther Television. It's election season. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but what matters is everyone should have a say. Let's send over to Emma Gomez on the importance of voting.
With the presidential election coming up on November 3rd, it is important for 18-year-olds to register to vote. Cass County Clerk Jeff Fletcher gives the insight on early registering.
Well, obviously, for the biggest reason, I'm a big believer everybody should vote. I don't get everybody to vote, but I hope everybody legally gets in and votes, so it's very important to come in and register to vote. Obviously, you have to be 17 and a half now to come in, but you have to be 18 by the election day.
Registering to vote is as easy as it sounds, but there are many resources in order to register, and it is getting easier to do every year. Senior Gabe Wilson and government teacher Mr. Moore give some helpful tips on how to vote.
We have lots of resources online. You can look up that tell you the issues that you're going to be voting on. They can give you ideas of how to vote. Make sure you're looking at both sides of an issue so you can make a well-educated choice.
And I was on Snapchat. Snapchat had a advertisement for it, so I clicked on it and did it in like 5 minutes.
Obviously off my website, which is thecasscounty.com, and then go to the Cass County Clerk Election Authority, and then the Secretary of State has a great website also that has a lot of information on that.
No one can be more passionate about getting young people to vote more than Mr. Moore. He gives some advice and words of wisdom to the recently turned 18-year-olds or anyone who hasn't registered to vote yet.
If you are 18 before November 3rd, 2020, you should definitely vote. If you don't turn 18 until November 2nd, in Missouri, you can register at 17 and a half. Do that, because if you wait till you're 18, you won't be registered in time. Register at least 30 days in advance, and yes, you should always vote.
If you're 18 and eligible to register to vote, make sure you go do so. This has been Emma Gomez with KPTV Panther Television.
Thank you, Emma. You can only get your word out if you vote.
Did you know that some of your fellow classmates are in a band? Paige Showen tells us all you need to know about Lights Out.
Music is a huge part of most people's lives. And while the world is always changing, one thing that always remains is a love for music. These three take this love of music to another level. What you're hearing now is Lights Out, a band made up of kids from our own Wickett High School. Twin brothers Chris and Josh Oberstedt are the core members of the band.
I was in 8th grade, and I was like sitting in class, not doing my work, thinking about music. Miss Streby's class, she was yelling at me because I was drawing on music lines on my paper. And I was like, what is a good name? And I was like, Lights Out, that's so good.
Music has been a part of the Oberstedt family for a long time.
My role is to play backup guitar. I mainly play chords and I occasionally help sing.
I play lead guitar and I sing.
But the boys didn't do it alone. After a few years, they added a new member, Hannah Codroy.
Down the line, started running cross country, and I met Hannah, and I was just like, hey, like, how are you? My friend Noah walks up, he goes, she's a good singer. I was like, okay. So I walk up to Hannah, and I'm like, can you sing? She goes, no.
And Chris came over to me, and he said he heard I can sing. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, like, sure. And then there was a song that played on the radio, and it was a country song, and I started singing it, and then I didn't really think anything of it. And I was laying on my back singing it, and then he came over to me and then said that, and yeah.
They've played music for family members and at bonfires, but the biggest show so far was at Ray Peck You Matter night. Hannah recalls that night as one with a very deep feeling.
Or like, it was just touching because everybody was there, they were watching you, they were applauding you, and then also it was like a tribute to other kids in our school that had taken their lives, and it was.
This was the first time they played all together in public. They were nervous, but they still put on a great show.
And so we're looking at each other, and we're like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. If we mess up, pretend like we did it right, and just keep going. And thank God it didn't mess up, because that would have been a train wreck. Because, you know.
You Matter night was a turning point for Lights Out. It helped them be noticed by local companies and restaurants. They started to play live a whole lot more often.
Live shows, oh, those are awesome. There's like so much energy you get from the people. They just want to sing with you. They want to clap their hands when you're singing.
We used to play almost once a week or once a month, but ever since Corona started, we haven't played lately.
Lights Out consists of a passionate group of our peers that love music and sound great playing it. You can find them on Instagram at lightsout.weebly.com and on YouTube. So
Subscribe to Lights Out.
This has been Paige Showen from KPTV signing off.
Thank you, Paige. Look out for the band's next performance.
Now we're going to send over to Maddie Maloney telling us all the announcements you need to know for the week.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 1st. Twice a year, Ray-Peg hosts a blood drive, but due to COVID, it's going to look a bit different this year. We still need your help. NHS is partnering with the Community Blood Center to host a blood drive at the Peculiar Lions Club October 6th and 7th. For more information, email Paige Showen or Miss Stryker. Seniors, check your email from Miss Fish this week for 2 scholarships that are available and information on ordering your cap and gown. Ray-Peg now will be hiding Chewy around the high school every day to be chased down by students and staff. When you find Chewy, you use the hashtag #RayPegNow and use the @ChasingChewy on Instagram. Good luck, Ray-Peg. Back to you, Kanen.
To report to Miss Russ's room for a treat.
The weather has been beautiful the past couple of days. Let's send over to Maddie Hocker for the weather forecast for the rest of the week.
Thank you, Conlan. Here's our 7-day forecast for the week. Since we are heading into fall weather, that can be switching up on us a little bit. We'll start to our week, heading into some warmer weather into next week. Mostly sunny skies throughout the whole week, except for about a 40% chance of rain on Saturday. Looking to have some great football weather against Blue Springs South on Friday night, but it's going to be a lot chillier than the last 2 games, so make sure you bundle up. Back to you, Conlan.
Thank you, Maddie. Make sure you guys are dressing appropriately for the football game on Friday.
COVID has shut down sports all over the world. How does that fare for a new athletic director? Let's send over to Kush Patel to talk about Kirk Hipple and his new position.
As we all know, this year has been anything but normal due to COVID-19. There have been a lot of challenges in planning sports events. Kirk Hipple, the activities director, shares his biggest challenge.
I've never thought about having to limit the amount of people who would come to an event or the amount of kids who could be on a sideline for a football game.
Keeping these challenges in mind, Kirk Hipple was asked if his job has become harder given the current circumstances, to which he had to say that his job has always been about adjusting to what's happening regarding the planning of sports.
There's always something that's going to come up, and whether it's weather, whether it's something else, that you've got to plan and adjust.
The school has done a great job of planning and adjusting because the coaches and the athletic director have been working together to put some protocols in place so that the athletes can keep playing their sport. Varsity tennis coach Derek Howard likes Hipple's plan for ensuring student safety during COVID.
Our athletic director has really given us some good guidelines, leading us in all staff meetings to make sure that we can give a great experience to kids while at the same time keeping them safe.
Even with all these procedures in place, nothing is guaranteed. Coach Howard says the players are focused on making the best of what they have in the moment.
We always use the phrase and the promises of there is no tomorrow. You need to live life for today, and I think nothing more holds true than practices and games during this COVID period.
This has been hard to accept for everyone, especially the seniors. Anna Brokaw shares what she has learned this season.
Not to take things for granted. You don't really realize how good you have it until it's gone, especially senior season.
While the COVID situation stays ever-changing, Ray-Peg athletics continues to flourish. This has been Kush Patel from KPTV Panther Television.
Thank you, Kush. We wish athletic Kirk luck in his new position this year.
Unfortunately, COVID has made it so only a select amount of people can attend the football games. Luckily, Ray-Peg has been streaming these football games on Ray-Peg Now activities on YouTube. Colbey Stosberg goes into detail on how this is possible.
9 months ago, the first coronavirus case in the United States was reported to the CDC. Since then, the virus has swept through the country and impacted the resume of school. With all the negative feelings going around, media teacher Barbarick saw an opportunity to provide a cool learning experience for students. and give the public a place to view Ray-Pec sports.
So Ray-Pec Activities is the site that was set up it's a one-spot stop for the YouTube channels for our streaming activities after school.
With the new YouTube channel, senior Riely Hunsaker has stepped up and is playing a key role as the new feature commentator on Friday nights. He explains the functions of the new piece of equipment, a TriCaster, bought to help run the stream.
It's like being able to, like, you plug in a camera and like an input, and you can, versus just having one camera, you can have multiple cameras and you can switch back and forth like as much as you want.
The new piece of equipment came at just the right time during the pandemic. With society transitioning to a virtual environment, Hunsaker explains the benefits of streaming games.
I feel like this live stream is a really good idea and a really good thing because not everyone can come into the football game, so if they can tune into that, they can watch, and also like the people that are at higher risk and don't want to go to the football games, they can also watch this live stream, so it's a really good thing for those people.
Also in the booth with Hunsaker is junior Jacob Ohlson. He describes the setup in place for him and Hunsaker while streaming games.
We have a desk, and then behind there is the green screen. I think we have a camera and a TV showing us the game, and then I think we have stat books to write stuff down on.
Safety when streaming is a priority for the department. The setup is unique in that it inherently provides an opportunity for social distancing. Barbarick describes the safety precautions taken to ensure student safety.
We can separate, social distance, which is a big thing with trying to stay safe through the pandemic. And so the camera operators, you have one at each end zone and one on the press box, so they're not really next to people. We have a control room here in the classroom, which is where the TriCaster is housed. And so we have one person in there running it, and then one director, and they don't have to be next to each other. They can sit, 6 feet apart. And then we have a color analyst and our play-by-play guy.
Be sure to tune in on Friday nights to the Ray-Pec Activities YouTube page to support your Ray-Pec sports. This has been Colbey Stosberg with KPTV Panther Television.
Thank you, Colbey. Don't miss our tomorrow's game at Blue Springs versus Blue Springs South Jaguars.
Speaking of new positions, we have a new head football coach. Landon Wickett talks about taking over a tough position after a successful year of football.
Around 7 months ago, the Ray-Pec football team hired Coach Sean Martin as the new head coach. With all the uncertainty about fall sports, Coach Martin is more than ready to take over the program.
I think a lot of experience. I know the guys really well. I know the conference, and I know our opponent.
Assistant coach Matt Copeland knows Martin loyalty and intensity is what the program needs.
He's worked a long time to be there, so he's put in a lot of time.
With the return of school means the football players coming back to play football. Senior linebacker Parker Bone is confident in Martin's leadership.
He's a great coach, great mentor, knows what he's doing, helps with everything.
With Coach Martin bringing a lot of experience and intensity to the Ray-Pec football program, Bowen is ready to follow Coach Martin through the season.
He's been here a long time. He has a great defensive mind, and he just helps me with my reads, work ethic.
When Coach Martin became the new head coach of the football program, he started setting goals. He has one goal every week.
Goals to be 1-0 every week.
Coach Copeland focuses on one asset Martin brings to the team.
Intensity, big one's intensity.
Coach Martin and the football team have had great success in the early part of the season. Hopefully the team can keep it going on their quest to state. This is Landon Wickett with KPTV Panther Television.
Thank you, Landon. Speaking of KC football, the Chiefs are off to a hot 3-0 start, and they play the Patriots at home this Sunday. Staying in Kansas City, Alex Gordon played his final game Sunday, and he will be retiring after this year. We got some MLB playoffs. The Rays swept the Blue Jays 2-0 in the series. The Yankees swept the Indians 2-0 in the series, and the Astros continue to plow through the series. They beat the Twins 2-0. A's and White Sox are tied at 1, and they will be playing today. That is in the AL. In the NL, the Dodgers beat the Brewers last night. The Cardinals beat the Padres. Marlins won their first game, or they're in the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, and they won that game last night. And the Reds lost to the Braves in the 13th inning by Freddie Freeman walk-off hit. Now on to some softball. The Panthers went 2-2 in the UCM Invitational Tournament and beat Blue Springs last night 6-5, and that improves their record to 9-11. They will play Lee Summit West today. Away at West, and October 5th is their next home game. Now on to cross country. Luke Volker placed second in the Grands Creek Classic with a time of 15 minutes and 52 seconds, while on the girls' side, Freshman Ashlyn Smith placed third with a time of 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Football unfortunately lost last Friday to Lee Summit West, but they're hoping to get back on a winning streak against 0-5 Blue Springs South this Friday. If you cannot attend the game, then we will be streaming it on Ray-Pec Activities on YouTube, so make sure you guys check that out. Back to you guys to wrap up the show.
Thank you, Riley. Let's wish all of our sports team the best of luck this week.
Well, that's today's show. Make sure to check out our socials at Ray-Pec Now on Instagram and Twitter. This has been Kanen Huff.
Conlan Downey.
On another edition of KPTV
Panther Television.